If you want, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be all about book recommendations, book reads. I feel like summer is slowly, very slowly in Canada approaching, but they're announcing like 2025 next week Celsius. So I feel like it's making me want to talk about books that I would love to read at the beach. I feel like it's not my main genre, really, but I feel like some of these like mysteries, mainly some contemporaries in there, are definitely books that I think would be perfect to read at the beach, or they even happen near the water too. I feel like that's definitely some of the things that make me think, oh, that would be a good beach read. So let me know in the comment section if you have any recommendations, because I would love to have more books to add to my TBR for the summer. Let's start with some romance. I am not a big romance reader, but during the summer I feel like I'm in the mood to read a couple, and I just finished Book Lovers by Emily Henry and I really enjoyed it. It's the perfect summer read. It's light, it's fun. I feel like at the beach I don't want to be focused on like really thick sci-fi or fantasy that you need actual brain power to follow. So these are just perfect. It's definitely super character driven. You have this enemy to lover kind of story. Two people working in the publishing industry, and the first time they meet they don't get along, and then they end up meeting again whenever she's on a vacation with her sister, and things happen. I really enjoyed myself. I thought it was perfect, light and fun. I also felt like the man was not a douche. Let's be real, I have read a couple that were popular on Booktube, and I just cannot root for the romance whenever, especially whenever the man keeps doing really horrible things to her and she keeps forgiving him. I just cannot root for the romance in that case. So I really enjoyed that one. I thought it was perfect. I feel like if you're looking for a cute little summer fling, this is it. It just came out too, and I know it's going to be popular. I actually need to pick up her next two books, one of them being called Beach Reads, so, you know, definitely will be happening for me during the summer. So I was mentioning mystery thrillers, and I call them like cozy mystery. I don't know, I don't feel like anyone agrees on what's an actual cozy mystery, but I feel like summery vibes, like the beach vibes, it works for me. Often they're just the ones that don't keep me awake until 2 in the morning. I feel like I don't want to read something like that on the beach. I want to enjoy myself and be able to put the book down whenever. And Megan Miranda is the author that just is perfect for me for that. So the first one I need to mention is this one because it does happen in a beach town. So come on, right? The Last House Guest. In this edition, I don't think you can, like, it doesn't do it justice on camera because it has 3D little water drops, which, amazing. But yes, this one's like a murder mystery. I really enjoyed it. She tends to write murder mystery in small towns. So again, to me, that screams cozy vibes. Nobody else seems to agree, but I think it works perfectly, again, this one, because it happens in a beach town. And this one is my favorite by her, so I wanted to give it a shout out. This one is told backward, which sounds kind of strange, but it's 2 weeks after the murder, and you go back in time to figure out what happened. And it does happen in a small town too, so it's not on the beach, but because of the cozy vibes, in my opinion, it works really well for the beach. So 2 great summer read I would recommend if you're into murder mysteries. Malibu Rising. I feel like we've all been wanting to read more by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I actually read 3 of her books at this point. This was my 3rd one, and because it happens once again surrounding the water, 4 kids are constantly surfing. So I mean, kind of works. It's all happening in one night. You have these 4 siblings that are the kids of a really famous man who abandoned his family, and during that one night a bunch of stuff happens, a lot of flashbacks, and again, the surfing, I feel like it just works. If you enjoy these kind of stories, I would recommend it. I think it's perfect, once again, beach read. It's not my favorite by her. I still much prefer The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I don't think you can really beat that one. Which of the book by her should I pick up? Are they also good books to read during the summer? I'm curious. I feel like she has a couple, and I'm kind of intimidated because, once again, I'm not huge on romance, and I feel like that's what she tends to write. But this one was good if you're looking for like family drama. That would definitely be my recommendation. Another murder mystery. Clearly, cozy mysteries on the beach is my thing. Big Little Lies. I feel like everyone has heard of that one, but I wanted to give it a shout out because to me, this is, again, the perfect example. It's very character driven. There's a lot of attaching characters. It does happen next to the water. I feel like there's a few scenes where the main character is at the beach, so totally works. And yes, the character is super likable. I really like Madeline, and that's why I'm kind of torn, because the author, I haven't liked anything else by her because I feel like it's the only one of her books that I really cared about the story, but I really enjoyed that one, needed to give it a shout out. During the summer, I'm also thinking about really wholesome books. I don't read a ton of wholesome books. I do feel like I tend to read a lot of dark ones, but I needed to mention Becky Chambers in general. I feel like if I don't mention her, am I really recommending any kind of book? I would recommend The Long Way to Small Angry Planet because it is my favorite by her and I feel like it's her most beloved. But A Psalm for the Wild Built by her is the first book in her newest series. The second one is coming out this summer, which I will be reading very soon. But you're following this non-binary monk trying to determine the meaning of life talking to a robot. It's basically a version of our world where robots one day got up and left us. They wanted nothing to do with us. And it's just very chill. It's all about vibes, and I feel like during the summer, it's exactly what I need very often, and it's perfect for the beach. Again, nothing close to the beach in there, but the vibes are just perfect if you want something wholesome. If you like haunted houses, I would recommend The Sunken Motel. I really enjoyed that book. This is my favorite by the author. I've read 3 of her books at this point, and she tends to have very similar tropes. So basically haunted, like ghost, a lot of back and forth between timelines, and they're just solid reads. So I would highly recommend this one if you're looking for a haunted house. Like I was saying, it's a haunted motel for this one, and you're following this young girl who decides to go work at the hotel where a haunt disappeared years ago and trying to figure out what happened back in the day. Also, The Night Swim, I would recommend this one as an audiobook if you can, because there's a podcast in there, so I feel like it works especially well, but you can listen to an audiobook at the beach, right? So I would recommend this one because it's, again, murder mystery. I'm realizing a lot of these are, but I warned you, that's just definitely what works for me for the beach. I don't tend to read a lot of contemporary romance, which in my head is also very beachy. But in this case, you're following this woman who goes to watch a trial to follow it on her podcast, but she also ends up trying to figure out what happened to another murder mystery in that town. A few scenes are actually close to the water also, so clearly that's probably why I'm associating the beach with it, but I recommend it. Definitely one of my favorite of last year. An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. This is technically a first contact with alien, like an adult sci-fi, but for some reason I feel like this is super accessible for YA contemporary readers even because of the story, the way it's told. Like it's very contemporary, but with sci-fi of first contact with aliens. You find a main character who overnight becomes a YouTube stars because she's the first one to make contact with aliens, and even though she does a lot of questionable things, she becomes kind of unlikable, I still found myself rooting for her, and I don't know why, but in my head I'm associating it with summer. I feel like it would be the perfect read to just put down whenever you need to, but at the same time it's really captivating whenever you are reading it. So I don't know, do you agree, disagree? I would be curious to hear your thoughts, but maybe it's the colorful cover, but it's working for me. I wanted to try to add one nonfiction in here because I feel like a lot of the ones that I read are pretty serious, but Broken or anything else written by Jane Austen, because she writes nonfiction, but they're often about mental illness and they're super funny. And I feel like sometimes at the beach you do need a little pick me up. And if fiction is not what you want, I would recommend her. I feel like I've listened to all of her books as audiobooks and I laughed every time. She obviously is going through a lot with a lot of mental illness or just general illnesses. And she's just really likable. So if you're looking for a little pick-me-up and a little nonfiction, I would highly recommend her in general. I feel like I didn't mention enough murder mysteries, so I'm going to add one more. 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. It's not my favorite by him. I still much prefer The Kind Worth Killing. But this one, there's a few scenes that happens, you guessed it, close to the beach. And for that reason, shockingly, I'm associating it as a beach read. But in this case, you're following characters, a bunch of characters. 9 of them receive a letter with a list of names, including theirs, and then one by one they start dying in mysterious circumstances. So I was shocked by some of the decisions that were made. I was enjoying myself. I didn't care for the epilogue, which I don't know why. I feel like I always hate the epilogues in every murder mystery, but because of the overall story, and again, the fact that a lot of it happens close to water, I feel like this would be a good, solid beach read. It's not something that, once again, I can't put down, keeps me awake until 3 in the morning, but that's not what I want close to beach. I just want something that will maintain my interest, but that doesn't drive me crazy. And I feel like this one would be perfect for that. So it does seem like too many characters, like following 9 plus however many police officers, but I feel like because they start dying pretty quickly, it wasn't a problem. Otherwise, I would say it's not a good beach read, right? You can't remember 10 characters. I can't. What about you guys? What would you consider a beach read? Because clearly me, it's contemporaries, but also anything that is, yes, close to water, but murder mystery in general. I feel like cozy-ish mysteries, they just work for me and I associate them with the summer for some reason. Or anything that is a little bit more wholesome. Like I'm thinking right now, even the house in the Cerulean Sea. I feel like this would be also something that a lot of people would enjoy during the summer because it is quite uplifting. But now I want to know your opinion. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in an upcoming video very soon. Bye.
Kiss on a cheek or loving just like